Have you ever been haunted by a silence louder than screams? Not a fight, not a farewell, just absence. No warning, no closure, just the echo of someone who once meant everything, now gone, as if they were never there. And the worst part? You still replay every moment, hoping to understand where it all went wrong. Chapter 1. When they leave you without saying goodbye, this is not heartbreak. This is war. A quiet war, fought inside your chest, where every memory becomes a battlefield, where your mind turns into a weapon against itself, and every thought begins with, what if I had done things differently? She left, not with a goodbye, but with a void, a silence that swallows your confidence, your sense of worth, your trust in reality. She disappeared like smoke, leaving behind the burning question, was I ever truly loved? That's the first fall. The moment where your soul aches, not because you lost her, but because you lost yourself. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius once wrote, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel wronged and you haven't been. He was not talking about denial. He was talking about reclaiming power. The one who walks away silently, without explanation, without closure, is often someone who never had the strength to face their own truth. Someone who, instead of holding up a mirror to themselves, drops it at your feet and lets you bleed on the shards. But here's what Marcus would do. He would not chase ghosts. He would sit in silence, not as a victim, but as a sovereign. He would let the pain pass through him, not define him, because the Stoic doesn't beg for explanations. The Stoic transforms pain into purpose. So now you have a choice, to drown in the storm she left behind, or to become the calm she never found within herself. You see, when someone disappears without warning, they tell you more about themselves than they do about you. People who vanish like shadows at sunset are often running from their own darkness, not yours. And while they escape into silence, you remain. With scars, yes, but also with the potential to rise. And that's the second fall. Not a collapse, but a surrender. A surrender to reality. A surrender to strength. Because the man who survives abandonment is not the one who clings to the past, but the one who understands. She left, and I'm still here. And that means I've already won. Chapter 2. The illusion of closure, you think. You need closure to heal. But that's the trap. You imagine one final conversation. One message where she finally explains everything, why she left, what went wrong, whether she ever truly cared. You imagine she'll apologize, cry, maybe even regret it. You hope that in her words, you'll find peace. But Marcus Aurelius would warn you, don't tie your peace to things outside your control. Because here's the truth no one wants to hear. Closure is a myth. No sentence she utters can erase the nights you suffered. No apology can undo the way she vanished without looking back. And this is the first fall. That devastating realization. That closure isn't something you're given. It's something you create. You see, we don't crave answers. We crave meaning. We want the pain to make sense, to fit into a story that doesn't leave us feeling like fools. But the Stoics knew. The universe owes you nothing. Not reasons, not fairness, not closure. She may never tell you why. She may never face what she did. And if she does, it might be years later, when the version of you that once loved her is long gone. So what now? Do you wait in emotional limbo? For someone too cowardly to face you? Or do you do what Marcus would do? He would write his pain into thoughts. He would examine it, not escape it. And then he would move forward, carrying wisdom, not wounds, because healing doesn't begin with her words. It begins with your decision. And here comes the second fall. The moment you realize that closure doesn't come from her. It comes from standing in front of the emotional wreckage and choosing to walk away with your dignity intact. You don't need her to admit she was wrong. You don't need to understand her silence. What you need is to reclaim your voice. You close the chapter, not because you got the ending you wanted, but because you finally understood you were never the one who walked away. Chapter 3. Stop trying to prove your worth. There's a quiet desperation that comes after being abandoned. A desire to prove her wrong, to become so successful, so attractive, so irreplaceable that one day she sees you and regrets everything. Imagine her scrolling through your photos, watching your rise from a distance, aching with remorse. It's satisfying in fantasy. But Marcus Aurelius would remind you, ambition means tying your well-being to what others say or do. Sanity means tying it to your own actions. That desire to be seen, to be admired, to be validated by the one who vanished, is not strength. It's still slavery. And that's the first fall. The painful awareness that even your success can become a chain. If it's built to impress the person who hurt you, you don't need to shine to make her jealous. You need to shine because the darkness she left behind no longer defines you. You're not here to prove anything to her. You're here to remember who you are without her shadow. The Stoic doesn't chase revenge. He builds quietly, patiently, with purpose. Not to scream, "Look what you lost," but to whisper, "Look what I found when you left." This is the alchemy of pain. Not turning heartbreak into noise, but into silence so deep, it becomes unshakable clarity. And now comes the second fall. The humbling moment when you realize you don't want her regret. You don't even want her attention. Because the highest revenge isn't being desired. It's being at peace. When you no longer need her to witness your glow, because you're not performing anymore. You're simply becoming. And that, Marcus would say, is the path of a free man. Chapter 4. The weight she left behind was never yours. Sometimes the heaviest thing you carry isn't the person, it's the meaning you gave them. You made her your peace, your anchor, your mirror. And when she left, it felt like everything shattered. Not just love, but your sense of self. You didn't just lose her, you lost who you were around her. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the things you think about determine the quality of your mind. What if the weight she left behind was never yours to carry? What if the pain you feel isn't rejection, but detachment from an illusion? That's the first fall. Realizing you didn't lose a soulmate. You lost a story one you wrote without her full consent. You gave her roles she never auditioned for. Healer, savior, home. But a person is not a cure. A person is a mirror. And sometimes they reflect back the very wounds you refused to see. She didn't save you. She showed you where you still needed to save yourself. The Stoics taught, don't attach your inner peace to external forms, not to money, not to status, not to love. Because anything you need to feel whole already controls you. Marcus wouldn't try to rewind time. He wouldn't beg the past to be kinder. He would write, reflect, and return to the only place power truly lives, the present moment. And here's the second fall, the collapse not of hope, but of illusion. You see it now. She wasn't the one. She was the lesson. And when you strip away the fantasy, when you stop worshiping the idea of her, you finally see the truth. You were never abandoned. You were redirected back to yourself. And that man, the one standing on the ashes, calm, clear, unshaken, is no longer waiting for her to come back. He's already moved on. Chapter 5. What Marcus Aurelius would do if she left you. He wouldn't chase. He wouldn't beg. He wouldn't rage. He would sit with the pain as one sits with fire, calm, composed, unflinching. Not because he didn't feel it, but because he knew pain is not the enemy. Attachment is. If she left, Marcus would. Right. He would turn heartbreak into philosophy. Not to escape, but to see clearly. He would ask not Why did she do this to me? But what is this moment demanding from me? And you? You are here now, not because you are destroyed, but because life is carving something deeper into you. Fortitude. This is the first fall. The solemn moment where you stop asking to be rescued and begin rising from within. To the Stoic, every blow is an invitation to sharpen your spirit, to remember that you are not what happens to you. You are how you respond. Let her go. Not because she was unworthy, but because you are no longer the same man who waited for her return. You've walked through fire. You've met your demons. You've stood in the ruins of what you thought was love, and instead of collapsing, you built something unbreakable. Marcus would say, "Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look." That's what she left behind. Not an empty space, but a doorway. A doorway to becoming. And now the second fall. The fall into truth, into power, into peace. She left, and that was a chapter. Not the whole story. You don't need her to come back. You don't need her to explain. Because what matters now is not that she walked away, but that you didn't. You stayed. You stood up. You chose to become. So when they ask, what did you do when she left? You will answer, I became everything I was trying to find in her. That is what Marcus Aurelius would do. And now it's what you are doing too. If this message stirred something in you, if you felt seen, understood, or even just less alone, remember this: you are never broken. You are being reshaped. Subscribe to Stoic Alchemist for more reflections that turn pain into purpose. Turn on the bell, because these aren't just videos. They're reminders of who you're becoming. And before you go, ask yourself one thing. What would the stronger version of me do now? Now go do it. With clarity, with calm, with fire.